Tell me you have pretty privilege without actually telling me that you have pretty privilege.
But all it is a mansion in the hills where models get to live there rent-free, and in exchange, they just have to go to clubs twice a week and look cute.
Times when me and my friends are around a group of guys, they'll intentionally ignore me and only talk to my friends and pretend that I'm not there. And I think it's because they're too nervous to come talk to me because they think I'm cute.
Hello everyone, my name is Suzy. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that has been on the internet on and off, but it's still a very important topic that everyone should understand and should learn about, and that is why pretty privilege is so toxic. So as someone who actually experienced both sides of the spectrum, I was really insecure growing up. It's also what a lot of Asians experience, is that Asian glow up, right? You don't really experience a glow up until you go to college, and that's kind of what happened to me. Is I had a huge glow up in college, and as someone who experienced both sides of the spectrum, I can tell you the way that society treats you and the way that stuff has just been given to me because I'm technically now prettier. It's just insane. And so I want to talk about my perspective as a person who went through both spectrums on what pretty privilege is actually like and how it can be quite toxic in society. Pretty privilege. The first thing that we think of when we think of the word is we put all the blame on society, right? It's societal's fault for giving all these beautiful people these wonderful opportunities that regular average people in this world cannot get. But truth is, society is all about lookism, and that's why pretty privilege is so toxic. Society as a whole from the beginning have always associated attractive people, right? Like physical attributes. People who are considered physically more attractive are successful at mating. They're more successful in terms of career-wise. They're more successful in terms of stability. And they're also perceived as more intelligent. And there's actually a word that describes this whole phenomenon, and that is called the halo effect. The halo effect is when one trait of a person or thing is used to make an overall judgment of that person or thing. In a book written by economist David Hesherman, Beauty Pays, he states that more attractive people, they're more likely to get a higher wage salary and they're more likely to get a loan approved. And it's crazy to think that one's beauty or attractiveness can be a big factor in making such big financial decisions like that. And in the courtroom, attractive criminals can even receive lighter sentences. So this just really shows that society as a whole cares a lot about looks. So what does that all mean? If society is all about lookism, does that mean that if I'm not an attractive human being, I cannot succeed in life? That, my friends, it is false, because success is purely entangled with status and money, not attractiveness. A person's looks is only the surface level of their depth. In society, we always like to associate pretty people with success, but we fail to associate that successful people can afford the luxury of beauty and not the other way around. For people who are successful, beauty is merely just a status for them. The luxury bags, fancy cars, and high-end lifestyle, those to successful people is just merely part of their way of building status. So instead of focusing so much on your appearance, try to focus more on how to build your depth. For example, finding passions, discovering new hobbies, finding something or dedicating your focus to something that can truly make you happy in life instead of caring so much about what other people think of how you look. Pretty privilege is actually the most toxic if you have experienced both sides of the story. From my perspective, in middle school and high school, I was not the most attractive kid. Instead of being recognized for my beauty, I was recognized for my level of intelligence. I was always considered a smart kid to friends and families, and so for me, my intelligence was my identity. But the minute I got to college, I would say my glow up happened very steadily, but also gradually too. It's just small things that I did to take take care of myself that put me under the quote-unquote glow-up stage. Like, I didn't even know I was going through a glow-up stage because I was just doing these small mundane things that I love to take care of myself as a human being. So as someone who was once considered ugly, known for her brain, that is now considered pretty and more known for her prettiness than her brain, let me just say a lot of things have changed. For example, I can look back to high school AP chemistry, where people will approach me because they knew that I was smart and could help them with their AP chemistry homework or AP chemistry lab. But now that I'm in like college and I'm in my lab classes, nobody would approach me for such questions. I have to be the one to approach people for questions. Weirdly enough, I started getting more compliments from people of like my appearance instead of my intelligence. And people won't actually know the depth of my intelligence until I tell them what my major is. Pretty privilege has made me more insecure because I do tend to self-doubt whether or not I am smart. People who have experienced both sides of the spectrum, we know how it feels to be ignored and now to get attention. So for all my girls out there who had a glow up and is currently experiencing what I call glow up insecurities, let me just tell you, one way that I have helped or lowered my insecurities is understanding that I'm not gonna be forever beautiful. I'm gonna get old one day and I'm not gonna be pretty as the way I am now. Instead of being so insecure about it, might as well just accept it. If I'm not gonna be like this for the rest of my life, then I should cherish this moment because it's not gonna last forever. If you went through a glow up phase and you're like, oh, now I'm feeling a lot more insecure, all the attention is thrown onto me, accept it. Be proud of it. Be proud that you are the center of attention because one day you're not gonna be. Society has put pretty privilege as the center of attention. By that I mean pretty people are always the center of attention for everything. By putting pretty people as the center of attention, it starts creating these unrealistic societal norms for what people, especially girls, what they should look like, right? Like, I remember growing up and my standard of beauty was like a Victoria's Secret model. I was like, oh my god, they're gorgeous, right? We all know Victoria's Secret models are like dead drop gorgeous, but that level of beauty is just insane to keep up with. We don't know what other procedures and what other stuff they have done to maintain their beauty like that. Can an average person in this world afford to maintain that type of beauty like a Victoria's Secret model? And also, it could just really well be that they got lucky, very lucky, and won the genetic pool. You see, stuff like that is something we can't control in life. But I feel like one thing that society has done to really make pretty privilege more toxic than it should have been is really putting pretty people at the center of attention. It's because it's what catches people's attention. It is also what makes them the most money. Or a phrase that I always tell people is that don't let society make money off of your insecurities. Instead of wasting your time looking at TikTok and being like, why can I not be one of those TikTok girls? Like, why can I not look as pretty as them? Focus more on what I can do as a human being to make myself more interesting. Just because you're beautiful, that does not mean that you are a very interesting person. In fact, you'll be surprised. There's a lot of attractive people out there who are also the most boring people out there. People don't believe that you can be both pretty and smart. Well, too bad. I guess you're just gonna have to prove it to them that you can. That is the end of my video analysis on why pretty privilege is so toxic in society. Can we blame society for creating this whole idea of putting pretty people first? Yes and no, because society at its deep core is built on lookism. That's something we can't change. You can't change what society prefer, and you cannot change what they want. The only thing you can do is to accept. You can start accepting the fact that society is like this, but know that your success in life is not defined by your beauty, but it's defined by your abilities to be great, right? If you're not beautiful now, it can be a result of your success, right? The more money you have, the more time you have, you can take care of yourself better. You can become the best version of yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want you to focus on. I don't want you to focus on anything else in this world, but focus on growing. Beauty can come. You never know. Like, even for me, I had a glow up face, but I still want to glow up because I think there's still attributes and part of my personalities I can definitely work on and make myself better. And beauty to me is just a price of my confidence, and that is how I'm going to venture on with life. And I hope you guys learned something from this video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in for the next video. Bye.